Voting for the 2016 presidential election has finally begun. We'll update you on all the action last night from Iowa.
We'll also update you on the Zika virus that is spreading throughout South and Central America.
And if you're having withdrawals from LSU football, we have some game day updates to get you through the off-season and to make game day more environmentally friendly.
Don't go anywhere. Newsbeat starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Newsbeat. I'm Mitch Ravelay, and alongside me is Madeline Adams. Madeline, we have some bad weather today in the Baton Rouge area. Did you manage to stay dry through all of it?
I tried. With my 3 classes, I definitely tried.
It's definitely hard to navigate, but we're going to get started tonight with the news with the top results from the Iowa caucuses last night. The Democratic side saw what Senator Bernie Sanders called a virtual tie. It was finally announced by the Iowa Democratic Party this morning that Hillary Clinton did win the caucus by a very thin margin. Third candidate running for the Democratic nomination, Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, suspended his campaign shortly after the caucuses began. With only 2 candidates remaining, the Iowa caucuses can be a preview of the long road ahead that both candidates will have to travel in order to win the Democratic nomination. Both Clinton and Sanders feel that they are up to the competition that they will be faced with.
I am excited about really getting into the debate with Senator Sanders about the best way forward to fight for us and America.
If I think about what happened tonight, I think the people of Iowa have sent a very profound message.
Both Senator Sanders and Secretary Clinton will get the chance to gain a larger lead in the delegate count next week in the New Hampshire primary.
Things were very close on the Republican side of the caucus. It was predicted that poll leader Donald Trump would come out victorious in the first round of voting, but it ended up being Texas Senator Ted Cruz that took Iowa with a 4-point lead over the national frontrunner Trump. Florida Senator Marco Rubio finished in a close third behind Trump. Although he did not have the results he wanted out of Iowa, Trump is still not worried about moving forward and is still confident in his ability to win the Republican nominee.
We finished second, and I want to tell you something. I'm just honored. I'm really honored. We will go on to get the Republican nomination, and we will go on to easily beat Hillary or Bernie or whoever the hell they throw up there.
Along with Martin O'Malley, Mike Huckabee also suspended his campaign in the middle of the caucus. Huckabee won the Iowa caucus in 2008, but could not get a vast number of supporters last evening. Next up, the candidates will head to New Hampshire to continue the race to the White House.
Dad took to the halls of campus to interview students about which candidate would they personally prefer after the Iowa caucus. One name kept coming up with resounding and overwhelming support.
Iowa has begun tonight is a political revolution.
After a virtual tie in Iowa, Senator Bernie Sanders is building support on college campuses and overwhelming support here at LSU.
I like a lot of his ideas. I know he's a big socialist, and a lot of people are really afraid of that word, and they should be. Too much socialism can be bad, but I feel like a lot of his ideas, they're in the right direction, and with a Congress and a Senate, you know, he won't be able to pass exactly what he wants, but he'll be able to pass the ideas that he's going for, and those changes will definitely help the country.
I feel that Bernie Sanders has been one of the most consistent politicians in a very, very long time. He's been saying a lot of things he's been saying for decades, and it's very easy to find footage of almost every other major candidate having a radical change of opinion on major issues within the past 6 months to a year. And so he's been consistent.
While many students are enthusiastic about Sanders, they're not as excited about his Democratic opponent, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
Probably not. I'd probably vote independent.
Senator Sanders is currently polling a double-digit lead in New Hampshire. That state's primary, the next one up, is exactly 1 week from today.
February marks the start of Black History Month, and LSU has many events for students to celebrate it. The first event will be the Imani pageant at 7 p.m. in the Union Theater. LSU will also have the Blacks in Academia lecture series on every Wednesday of this month. Towards the end of the month, the African American Cultural Center will be hosting a jazz brunch. Students can purchase tickets for $35. All information on the month-long events, dates, and times are listed on the African American Cultural Center's website.
Today, the World Health Organization released an international public health emergency on the Zika virus that has been spreading throughout the Americas. Experts are worried that the virus was spread by mosquitoes and it's spreading quicker and it will have horrible consequences. The virus is very dangerous to pregnant women because the virus is linked to their babies being born with microcephaly, a condition that causes babies to be born with underdeveloped heads and brains. The virus has mostly been in Central and South America, with most cases being reported in Brazil. The World Health Organization Director Margaret Chan said that the Zika virus is an extraordinary event while declaring the international public health emergency. So far, there have been over 20 cases reported in the United States. All of the cases were from people that had recently traveled to Central or South America. Coming up after the break, find out how LSU is giving back on game days and how athletes are working on bigger things than victories in Tiger Stadium.
And later we'll show you who really stole the show at the Iowa Caucus according to social media.
And we may have seen weather in the 70s here in Louisiana, but is there a chance for the rest of the country to see an early spring? We'll be right back.
LSU leads college football, having the most players drafted into the NFL. Most leave by junior year. However, there are some few who come back to receive their LSU degree. J.C. Copeland was a part of the SEC championship team in 2011.
Like many others on the team, he left early for the draft. But now he's back to fulfill a lifelong promise.
I promised my parents, my family, that I would get my degree from LSU. I wouldn't just go to school just to go to the NFL.
Outside of class, he will be spending time at the Athletic Academic Center with his mentor, Jason Shaw.
Anytime an individual wants to come back and they need a little assistance and get back in the swing of things, we'll meet with them. In JC's case, I remember speaking with him at the athletic combine. He actually came up to me and we talked about taking classes and finishing up. So we love that type of stuff. We have about a dozen students right now that are back trying to finish up their degree.
Copeland and his mentor, Jason Shaw, hope that the road that Copeland has chosen will encourage others to do the same.
I just say just come back. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, they can take the football from you, but they can't take your mind. And these days, having that degree is more important than anything.
Once you have that degree, it's yours. You know, nobody can take that accomplishment away from you.
He expresses there's one thing he misses the most.
So really hard to put my finger on just one thing, but I want to say it's the fans. I mean, they put an atmosphere inside the stadium like none other. You can't go anywhere else in the country and find a better atmosphere to play in.
Serena Crawford reporting for Tiger TV.
J.C. Copeland will receive a degree in sports administration this year in May. For more information about project graduation, contact Jason Shaw in Caucus.
LSU led the nation in the 2015 EPA Recycling Challenge, recycling a total of over 86,000 pounds and led the SEC with the most recycled tons per capita. Campus Sustainability Manager Sarah Temple attributes the win to the marketing efforts that got students, faculty, and community members involved. The Get Caught Green-Handed Challenge is one example of how LSU has provided incentives for students to become more involved with recycling on campus.
The idea was to get students to recycle and take a selfie recycling and upload it to Instagram. And we had over 75 entries, so that definitely the word got out there.
99 colleges and universities took part in the challenge, which sought to reduce the total waste on college football game days. Coming up after the break, see who really stole the show at the Iowa Caucus last night. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. While Hillary Clinton was making her closing remarks last night in Iowa, a spectator behind her caught the attention of many people on social media. The man became known as Sticker Kid, and social media was filled with memes and comments about him using hashtag Sticker Kid. Turns out Sticker Kid's real name is Peter Clinkscales, and he is a freshman at Drake University in Iowa. Clinkscales ended up directly behind Clinton in the VIP section. Well, that's all the time we have for you today, but you can follow us on Twitter at LSU Tiger TV, and you can stay updated with our websites at tigertv.tv. For Madeline Adams, I'm Mitch Ravelay. Good night.
Good night.